Hello and welcome to CNN News 18, and well, today we have a very special episode for you. We have three very special guests for a series that's coming up tomorrow on 19th of January. Yes, this is the Indian Police Force that we're talking about. That is going to start streaming on Amazon Prime from tomorrow onwards. And well, without any delay, we'll go on to our special guests today. Rohit Shetty, the director, welcome to the show, sir. Shilpa Shetty, the actor in the film, playing the protagonist's role, welcome to our show. Siddharth Malhotra, you are playing SP Kabir Malik, and welcome to our show.
Thank you.
Well, very firstly, how are all of you? What's the Josh like for the show?
We're very happy with the response till now what we have got from the trailer, and obviously the show is based in Delhi and we are promoting it in Delhi. So it's a different feeling altogether.
Right. I'll come to each of you with regards to the inspiration behind this show, and for the two of you, the entire inspiration behind joining this entire particular series. This is your next venture in the cop universe, but it's a series and it's not a film. Very firstly, where did that entire idea come from?
It started 3-4 years ago when Amazon, they came to me that they wanted to make something big, an action series. And I was like, you know the kind of budgets we have for films, you know. And they were like, no, we want to make something what we have done like a Suryavanshi or a Singham. And we have those kinds of budgets. And our vision is such that we want to do something of that scale. And then we started writing this series, and it took us 3 years to write because it's like working on 2.5 films. And while shooting the series, I never thought that I'm shooting for an OTT platform or a web series. The kind of scale we had, you can see it in the promo.
Right.
It was as if we are shooting for a movie.
Right. And to you, Shilpa, firstly an OTT series, and especially your role, we've seen in the trailer, it's a very crucial, it's a very powerful image that you've given in the entire film.
That he gave me.
I mean, yes, I was listening to your banter before this as well. It keeps going back and forth. I'll come to you with regards to that later. But for now, just a little bit about the role, what inspired you to play it?
I think there was so much meat on the bone for me that for me to then work on that became so much easier, and obviously direction coming from Rohit made it even better. She was gritty, she was no nonsense, she was real, and she was in a power of, in a position of power. And I think all focus being on the fact that, she wasn't just a woman in a man's world. She was playing the position. And I think that position being justified so well in the scheme of things, and her playing catalyst in, moving the story forward, that's what kind of ticked it for me. And yeah, definitely different from what I've played before, because I think it comes with that added edge of when you're just playing a cop, it's one thing, you play it your way, but here you're playing a cop in his cop verse, which already has, a benchmark that he's set. And
but I think you're setting new standards in that cop verse, for sure. Right?
But I'm happy with the reaction. I'm loving the fact that women are finding it, complimentary to see a woman being projected as a hero. So I have to give due credit to where it's deserved, and you can't, as an artist, you can only play the part, but how it looks at the end of it all, it definitely comes from the director's vision.
Right, right. Coming to you, Siddharth. Siddharth, you've spoken about how you're very honored to play this role, and we've seen you in an officer's uniform before as well, but this is a police's role that you're doing. Firstly, tell us how different was it preparing for this role and what it meant to you, this particular cop's role, and since you've already expressed how honored you've been and your journey with this particular character, SP Kabir Malik, tell us more about it.
So yes, I've worn a uniform before. That's for Captain Vikram
You've
Batra's.
quite a fan base for that, let me tell you.
Well, thank you. I'm happy. That was a biopic. That was, us doing years of research and developing the script, and then you meet the families. It's someone who existed and has done so much for the country. Had a different tonality, different prep to it. This is, of course, coming on to an already existing universe and a vision by Mr. Rohit Shetty, where which I've really enjoyed on screen before as an audience. And I think it's got a perfect mix of old school Hindi film drama mixed
Right.
with today's contemporary aesthetics, a little bit of reality and a little bit of ultra hyper reality that goes into it, which is what I think any content to cater to a large audience should be.
Right.
It's so I was very excited when I heard that he's making another venture into the cop universe. It was interesting that it was on an OTT platform because you get a longer time. We're in about 7 episodes.
Right.
It has a very interesting arc and journey. But for me, I think definitely he was one of the motivating factors to work with every actor, every hero.
Right.
I went to Mumbai from Delhi to become a Hindi film hero, and this is what a Hindi film hero does, and I think nobody does it better than him.
Right.
So it's got a mix of that with today's issues. It's very interestingly written in the long format, and I thought it just gave me many more emotions and flavors to show.
Right, right. So you are known to be the action hero maker as well, and now we also have a heroine maker coming up tomorrow, right? So with that, how difficult, as in putting it into perspective of the OTT world, we have come to hear that OTT as a platform, as a medium, has pushed Hindi cinema to a place where we see content being the king. So now, for a cop first series to come up, how difficult was it to, or was it at all difficult to hold the story out long and stretch it for 7 episodes? Or was it the same, or was it like a more of a different kind of a challenge this time?
The only challenge I think was because it's like almost shooting for 2.5 movies or 3 movies because of the length. So that much of hard work goes into it. Where the narrative is concerned, it didn't affect us. Like, okay,
Right.
it's just a 2-hour film what we make, and now we are making a series which is almost 3 or 50 minutes or 4 hours, and we have to stretch the story.
Right.
The story was such that it needs that much of time. It needs to justify all the characters. We need that length. So it wasn't difficult for me that way. It's just that we had to work really hard because when we started, we were like, we all are equipped to make a film.
Right.
And here we were coming with a series, so like even for the post-production, it took a lot of time, a lot of special effects, a lot of action. So that took us a lot of time. So that was a
Right.
new experience for us. That's it.
Right. And to you, Shilpa, how was your experience with this OTT? Because definitely this is a different role that you're playing as well as the ATS officer, ATS chief, and plus it being on OTT. What was your preparation like for this particular role?
See, I don't approach a film any differently from the content that we're churning out on OTT. It's the character. So you have to just play it with as much honesty and authenticity as you do as an actor.
Right.
The platform varies, but your performance doesn't. And so for me, it is my first debut on OTT
Right.
in the fiction category. Other than that, my mindset or my approach to the role or my craft didn't change at all. I approached it like I would on any other day.
Right. And for you, how was the journey? What was it different at all? Because now we see these questions or comments coming in with regards to how content in the Indian movie industry has taken a shift because of OTT. Do you feel that after having worked for it?
Well, this is my first long format. It's my first series, and it's happens to be with Mr. Rohit Shetty in Amazon Prime, where we've kept the same tonality though. So I think there are 2 aspects to OTT today. It's given so many other writers, directors and actors a space to show their talent and stories, which might not be fit for the theatrical release because
Right.
of maybe adult content, maybe because of it's extremely violent or extremely edgy or whatever you possibly would not do on screen on a theatrical level, culturally, now you could do on OTT.
Right.
But I think this is an exception. This is my first long format series, and as Sir was saying, this is shot like a film. Even tonality and language, we've not really used the OTT platform in that sense to show either blood or abusive language in that sense. You can watch this show with your family, and every member of your family can connect to it just like any other, UA film.
Right.
So I personally like that. I thought it was a great, thing for the audience to sit and watch in the comfort of their homes, feel like they're watching, Rohit Shetty action film, but have about 4 hours of footage for it. And as an actor to be a part of that, where you're sustaining your character's journey over 7 episodes is very fulfilling and satisfying as an actor.
Right. So it's a different experience for sure.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Coming to experiences now, I'll come to Shilpa first. You, in a recent interview, have said that Rohit is a bigger diva than you.
Really?
We do want to know
What?
why.
Did I say that?
Yes.
Did I?
In fact, the comment
Guilty
was,
as charged.
why is he a bigger
yes.
diva?
So, but there are two things in that.
Right.
One is she's admitting that she's a diva.
Yeah.
She definitely
then
is.
she is.
There is no denying that she is.
Okay.
Absolutely.
A diva in the sense of, maybe
What is a diva? Can you please give me a definition?
I want to know
tracking
that
that,
from you as to why is Rohit a diva? In what
No,
sense?
what
have
is
you
the
said
definition
that?
of a diva?
I mean, you are a diva for me. There we go.
What is the definition? Somebody who comes with that little gravitas and,
It's that
that
persona.
style and persona.
Right.
And so
that.
he should take that as a huge compliment because he
Definitely.
is a diva. He's on set. And he's
Do you have
Good
to
one.
say anything with regards to this? Why are you a diva?
This is the first time I've heard somebody like during the season.
I mean, you, okay, fine.
Or
You
is he
said that he's a
Himadwati?
diva as well as a tyrant on the set. So why such extremes?
He's
What
not a
have you been
tyrant.
doing?
I think it's all.
See, yeah,
the job.
tyrant also you have told me. Diva
Yes.
or tyrant, you decide first.
Tyrant, though, I think everyone will agree. But it's truly it's truly only for work. It's
Right.
not like he wants to harass someone. He's
No,
very
absolutely not.
He's got absolute clarity about how he wants his character to be, and he. He's envisaged it a certain way, and if we kind of deviate and are trying to do something different,
Right.
he's going to come, steer us back on path. So some actors are a little spoilt, and we just want to do our own
He's
thing.
looking
And
at you right
I
now.
feel like,
Yeah, so
I
some
feel
actors-
like
That's like a subtle time.
purane chawal like me.
Come on.
Yeah. So I'll be like, should we add this? He's like, no. This is enough. So
Actually, when you speak of that, Rohit, we've heard this about you from a lot of actors, that you actually make it a personal experience. You practice scenes with them before they go and enact it, right? So firstly, I'll come to both of you as well with regards to that experience with Rohit, having Rohit as a director. But you yourself, if you could share some of your experiences from shooting this series.
I think it becomes easier. The kind of process we go through is because what happens is when an actor comes on set, we are living with the script for 2.5 years, 3 years. The actor comes and then many a times the actor might have his own vision. It's like when you're reading a novel, you're the director. And when you're making a film, you're watching the film from a director's vision.
Right.
So that can there are many actors who read a script, but I strictly believe that they should hear the narration, because when the narration is happening, it's the director who's telling a story
Right.
from his vision. Like when you read a novel, you can imagine a room the way you want. If there is a description of a room, I might imagine in my way, you might imagine in your way.
Right.
So that happens when actor reaches on set. So for that clarity, I think we go through this process where they know everything, how it is done, what kind of performance we need from this scene, where the background will be coming and how it's performed. We have ADs who are good actors, they perform the whole scene. So for many technical reasons also, okay, in this shot, what kind of performance we need, how many lines are to be said.
Right.
It's not the whole scene. It becomes easier for the actor, I think.
Are you
yeah,
too much of an improv person with regards to this?
If it is comedy, then yes. When it is drama, no.
Right, right. What about, you wanted to
No,
add
absolutely.
something?
Yeah, I think it on set. This is my first experience working with him. I think his instruction was so measured in that sense that you knew very clearly as an actor that he's already done the thinking for you.
Right.
And thinking for the graph and for the pre and post of that scene, which for me was very liberating as an actor, that you're coming in, you're trusting the director's vision completely, and I have faith in the tonality that he's saying, because as he said, he's lived with this content for much longer than what
Right.
I have. And also I think because he likes it that way, that he's thought about it before. He's never coming on set to really experience कि आज क्या shoot कर रहे हैं, आज कैसा shoot कर रहे हैं और मुझे आज क्या चाहिए. He'll never call the actors unless he's very extremely clear.
Right.
Which is very refreshing. I think all actors love, that work to be done behind the camera.
Right.
So that we can just come precisely do our job.
Right. And Shilpa, you, because he also, I think your experience with him would maybe be a bit different with yours with regards to the
Why?
particular
Which
narrative
mine?
that's being said.
The Shetty connect to me? No.
Shetty connect with it. I will come to that, but before that, just from the narrative perspective, it's a different narrative.
I think a little bit of work that I've done in the industry, I kind of have understood and gauged that when you're working for the big screen, like when you're churning out content, maybe for a theatrical release, you can experiment a bit, and then it's left to the discretion of the director what's going to stay on the editing table. But when you're shooting content for OTT, it all has to be like really to the point, because you're literally, every second counts. You want that whole cliffhanger effect, so you can't waste time, experimenting. So I think he had that whole aspect when shooting this thing. So I think that was the only difference that correct me if I'm wrong, with how he maybe have approached the job with other actors, that when he has worked with them on, for cinema releases.
Right.
So I got that on the first day, and I think that's why he'd be like, no, just keep it this much. Don't, don't over exceed and try to, ghusao some performance because it doesn't work. So it takes that understanding, and fair enough. I mean, he knows the medium better than me.
Right.
I, as an actor, do my bit as an actor, and the job of the director is to direct the artist,
Right, absolutely.
to deliver the content. And,
But I've heard of many actors not taking that well as well. Sometimes they're just a bit like, too much interference, it's okay, I'll figure my way out. But I'm sure that's
I'm not that great an
exactly,
actor,
I'm sure
sorry.
that's not the one, that's not
I'm
the
not one
experience
of those
you had here,
actors.
for sure. Coming to experience, another question I have. We know if it's a Rohit Shetty film, we are expecting cars to be blown up.
Yes, for sure.
But this is a series, so are we seeing
Many
cars
more.
being blown up in each episode? And how is that for you guys?
I think we should have a competition of people counting the number of cars being blown up. Somebody should really count and tell us. That
For
should be
sure,
a-
that's an interesting. People
I
have
was
actually
Like I
done
was shooting a sequence. They created a set in Hyderabad of Bangladesh,
that. Right.
and it was exiting a particular location, and there's one car here, and I have to chase somebody 100 meters, 50, 80 meters ahead, and I said, great, okay, this is what we're shooting. That's all we're shooting. So you start the car, you get into it, but within that 100 meters. Starting में one car gets hit to me by one car gets it on the right. एक रिक्शा के through जा रही है गाड़ी, फिर एक और bus आ रही है, almost crash into the bus, it goes there. So within those 100 meters, he's filled it up with so much thrill and action.
Right.
I just feel it's great popcorn entertainment for any audience today,
Right,
sitting there.
for sure.
And where else do you get to see something like that, or do something like that, even as actors? We all grew up watching the big screen, wanting people to do some extraordinary things.
Right.
And action is at least flavor of the year, and flavor of all our commercial audience.
Right. So well, I think with this we can end the conversation with some quick notes from all three of you with regards to the messaging of this particular movie, because it's a very important movie on terrorism, that too at a very crucial juncture where we are geopolitically across the globe. So if just short sentences from all of you, short remarks from all of you, and we'll just end it on that note.
Well, for starters, sorry.
No, Shilpa, yes.
I've said this before. I just feel that it's important to kind of bring to focus, especially since Indian Police Force delves into the Delhi Police Force. That's what he's brought to focus. I don't think anyone's ever talked about how the terrorism in Delhi has reduced. Literally, in the last 8 to 9 years, you've not heard of any kind of terrorist attack. And like, this is an analogy that I've kind of talked about before. When you see a duck wading in the pond, you see that it all looks really smooth, but you don't see the work that goes on with its feet. And hence it just looks so beautiful. But the piece is maintained because of the work. There is so much work that goes into it 24/7 and constantly.
Right.
And it's so selfless from the force that it's an ode to our forces that literally are in the line of fire.
Right.
And it's our way of being thankful.
Rohit sir?
As we started off, like when you asked this question about terrorism, yes, that's a fact of life, that we are facing that. And with this series or any of my last films based on cops, it's like what goes into it when they are battling. You know, there are so many issues. And when it happens, there's always a blame game, what cops were doing. But they are also not, they are human beings. They are not God, they are not superheroes.
Absolutely.
So what goes into it, how the tracking happens is like, that's what we wanted to show. And it's been quite authentic because I've worked so much with cops. So all the beats, when you see the series of tracking and all, it's almost like we've been guided like how it is done.
Right.
You know, so that's the interesting part in this series.
Right. Siddharth, last word?
I think from my point of view, it's as stemming from what sir is saying, he's done so many cop films that have changed the image of our Indian police cops and services, whether in Maharashtra, now he's doing Delhi police. But it tends to show you how difficult and how vast their job is. We're playing a special unit. It's almost like a cat and mouse game.
Right.
And it's more difficult because cops are always out in the open. You can make out, or when they wear uniform, they always stand out. But the terrorists have an advantage because they're hiding somewhere. They don't have uniforms, or nobody's. It's not written in anybody's face that they're a terrorist. So it makes the police services job even more difficult. So I think the series dives into that, how they would find, like we have the ghost who bombs, and where the journey starts from knowing nothing about anybody, then to getting one clue to the other, and how the investigation process works.
Right.
I think will give you a good insight along with entertaining you. So it's a good combo.
So it's a good combo. It's definitely a package from the conversation we had. We are learning. And well, to find out, you just have to go to Amazon Prime and watch it from tomorrow onwards. Best of luck to all three of you. And yes, we will definitely look forward to the movie. Thank you so much for joining us at the N18V.